Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of our podcast. We are so happy to have you here today on the Daily English Dialogues YouTube channel. I am sitting here with my very good friend, and we are ready for a great chat. How are you doing today?
Hello. I am doing wonderful. Thank you for asking. I am very happy to see you again. I was looking forward to this all morning. The sun is shining through the window, and I have a warm cup of tea. It is a perfect day for a conversation.
It really is. I also have my coffee right here. I feel very energetic today. I think it is because the weather is finally getting warmer. Does the warm weather make you feel happy too?
Oh, definitely. When the sky is blue and the birds are singing, I feel like I can do anything. But to be honest, I also feel a little bit tired from work this week. My computer screen was my only friend for many days.
I understand that feeling. We all work so hard, and sometimes we forget to look up and enjoy life. That is why I chose our topic for today. I think it is a topic that will make everyone feel good.
I am curious. What is the topic for our listeners today?
Today, we are talking about holidays. Not just any holidays, but the trips that make us happy and the places we love to visit. I want to hear all about your recent travels.
That is a fantastic topic. Just thinking about holidays makes me feel more relaxed. It is so important to take a break, go to a new place, and see new things. It gives the brain a rest.
I agree 100%. Before we start with the details, I want to say hello to our audience. We have people listening from many different countries. Some are in the morning, some are in the evening, but we are all here to learn English together.
Yes, welcome to everyone. We hope this dialogue helps you feel more confident with your English. We will speak clearly and use friendly words so you can follow along easily.
Exactly. And remember, if we speak a little bit fast, you can listen to the recording again. Practice is the key to success. So, are you ready to tell me about your big trip?
I am ready. I have my memories ready and a big smile on my face. Let's dive into the details of my holiday.
Great. So let's start at the very beginning. Did you go on holiday recently, or was this a trip from a long time ago?
It was actually quite recent. I went away just last month. I realized I hadn't seen the ocean in over a year, and I told myself, it is time to go.
I love the sea too. The sound of the water is very relaxing, and the air always smells so fresh. Did you go alone, or did you take some friends or family with you?
I went with my brother. We like to travel together because we have a very similar rhythm. We both love swimming, we both love sleeping late on holiday, and we definitely both love eating good food.
It is so important to travel with someone who likes the same things. If one person wants to climb a mountain and the other person wants to sit in the cafe, it can be difficult.
Exactly. We are a good team. But even with a good team, you have to prepare. Honestly, I started thinking about this trip 2 weeks before we actually left. I was so excited that I couldn't sleep.
I am the same way. I start making lists in my head. Was it difficult to plan everything? Did you spend a long time looking at hotels online?
A little bit. I spent a few evenings looking at different websites. I wanted a place that was quiet but also close to the water. Finally, I found a small, charming hotel. I clicked book and I felt so happy. It made the holiday feel real.
That click is the best feeling. What about your suitcases? Whenever I travel, I have a big problem. I always take too many clothes. I bring heavy jackets just in case and 5 pairs of shoes I never wear. Are you a heavy packer?
I used to be. In the past, my bags were so heavy I could barely lift them. But for this trip, I decided to be different. I used a small bag, just a backpack really. I told myself, Orus, you only need the basics.
Only a backpack? That is amazing. What did you put inside? I imagine you had to be very careful with your choices.
It was a fun challenge. I packed my favorite blue swimsuit, 3 simple t-shirts, and 1 pair of comfortable walking shoes. I also brought a very good book because I wanted to read while listening to the waves.
No fancy clothes for a nice dinner? No extra umbrella?
Well, I checked the weather report every day before I left. The report said sun, sun, and more sun, so I left the umbrella at home. It felt very free to have a light bag. I could move quickly and I didn't have to worry about losing anything.
You are much more organized than I am. I usually pack my bag at midnight the night before the trip. It is always a disaster. I always forget my toothbrush or my phone charger.
Oh, I forgot my charger once. That was a big lesson. Now my phone charger is the very first thing I put in my bag. I also make a physical list on paper. When I put an item in the bag, I check it off the list.
That is a very good tip for our listeners. Making a list helps the brain stay calm. Did your brother pack light too, or did he bring the whole house with him?
He brought a bit more than me. He brought his camera and a big tripod because he loves taking photos of the sunset. It made his bag heavy, but the photos were worth it.
That makes sense. We all have that one special thing we must bring. For me, it is my own pillow. I can't sleep without it.
A pillow? That must take up a lot of space in your suitcase. But I understand, a good sleep is the most important part of a holiday. If you don't sleep well, you can't enjoy the beach the next day.
Exactly. So with your small backpack and your brother's camera gear, you are finally ready. Did you feel nervous on the morning of the trip or just happy?
Just pure happiness. I woke up at 6 o'clock, even before my alarm clock rang. I had my bag by the door, my tickets on my phone, and a big smile on my face. We were ready for the station.
You said you took the train. How was the journey? I personally love trains because you can see so much from the window, and you don't have to worry about traffic or driving.
I agree completely. For me, the holiday starts the moment I walk into the train station. There is so much energy there. People are going to many different places, carrying bags and looking at the big clocks.
It is very exciting. Was the station very crowded when you arrived?
It was a little busy because it was a Saturday morning. We had to find our platform, which was all the way at the end of the station. We walked quickly and we found our seats just 5 minutes before the train started to move.
That is a bit close. I usually like to arrive very early because I am always afraid of missing the train. Did you have good seats?
Yes, we were very lucky. I sat near the window and my brother sat next to me. The seats were very soft and big. As the train moved away from the city, everything changed. The tall buildings disappeared, and suddenly we saw the green hills and the small, quiet houses of the countryside.
That is the best part. I love watching the cows in the fields and the little rivers. Did the train arrive on time? Sometimes a delay can be very frustrating.
It was perfect. The train was very modern and clean. It arrived exactly at 10 o'clock in the morning, just like the ticket said. During the ride, a man came by with a small cart selling snacks and drinks.
Oh, I love the snack cart. Did you buy anything to eat?
We did. We bought 2 cups of hot coffee and some chocolate cookies. Drinking coffee while watching the world go by through the window is one of my favorite things to do. My brother and I spent the time talking about what we wanted to see first.
It sounds like a very peaceful start to a holiday. No stress, just coffee and conversation. How long was the total trip?
It was about 3 hours. It was long enough to feel like an adventure, but short enough that we didn't feel too tired when we arrived. When the train finally stopped, we could smell the salt in the air.
That is an amazing feeling, smelling the ocean before you even see it. When you stepped off the train and onto the platform, how did you get to your hotel? Did you need to call a taxi?
We thought about it, but the weather was so nice that we decided to walk. The hotel was very close to the station, maybe only a 10-minute walk. We pulled our bags along the sidewalk and looked at all the small shops and cafes.
Walking is a great way to see the town for the first time. You can see the colors of the buildings and hear the local people talking. Did you find the hotel easily?
Yes, it was very easy to find. It was a big white building with a beautiful wooden door. Every step we took made me feel more relaxed. I knew right then that it was going to be a great holiday.
I can almost see it in my mind. A big white building with a wooden door sounds very classic. Tell me more about the hotel. When you walked inside, did it feel like a big, busy business hotel, or was it a quiet and cozy place?
It was definitely quiet and cozy. As soon as we opened that heavy wooden door, a little bell rang. Ding! The air inside smelled like fresh flowers and old wood. It was a small bed and breakfast, which means the family who owns it also lives there and cooks the breakfast.
I love those kinds of places. They have so much character. Did you meet the owners right away? Were they welcoming?
Yes, a very kind woman named Maria greeted us. She had a big smile and gave us a physical metal key. Nowadays, most hotels use plastic cards, but this place was traditional. She showed us the way to our room on the second floor. We had to walk up a beautiful staircase made of dark wood.
That sounds very charming. Now, let's talk about the room. This is the most important part. When you opened the door to your room, what was the first thing you noticed?
The first thing I noticed was the light. The room had 2 big windows, so it was very bright and happy. The walls were painted a soft cream color, and there were pictures of old ships on the walls. It felt very nautical, like we were living on a boat, but much more comfortable.
And the bed? You mentioned before that a good sleep is important to you. Was the bed as soft as a cloud, or was it a bit hard?
Oh, it was perfect. It had a big white duvet and many fluffy pillows. I actually sat on the bed for a moment and thought, I could stay here all day. But then I saw the glass door leading to the balcony.
Ah, the balcony. You mentioned you could see the sea. Was the balcony big enough for both you and your brother to sit and enjoy the view?
It was a small balcony, but it had 2 little blue chairs and a tiny table. We opened the door and the sound of the ocean suddenly filled the room. The beach was right across the street. The water was a deep, sparkling blue, and I could see people walking their dogs on the sand.
That sounds like a dream. I can imagine sitting there in the morning with a cup of tea. Did the room have any other special features? A big bathroom or perhaps a little fridge for your drinks?
It had a very clean modern bathroom with a large shower. That was great because after swimming in the salt water, you always want a hot shower. There wasn't a fridge, but Maria told us we could always go downstairs to the kitchen if we needed anything. It felt like being a guest in someone's home.
That is the best kind of service. It makes you feel like a person, not just a room number. Did you spend a long time unpacking your small backpack, or were you too excited to stay inside?
I think I spent exactly 2 minutes unpacking. I put my t-shirts in a drawer, grabbed my sunglasses, and looked at my brother. He already had his camera in his hand. We didn't want to waste a single minute of sunshine.
I don't blame you. If I had a view like that, I would want to be outside too. So you changed into your swimsuits, grabbed your towels, and headed for the sand?
Exactly. We locked the door with our big metal key, said hello to Maria in the lobby, and ran across the street. The sand was warm under our feet, and the holiday had truly begun.
So you were finally on the sand. What did you do first? I imagine the feeling of the warm sand between your toes was wonderful after being on a train for 3 hours.
It was the best feeling in the world. The first thing we did was find a good spot to sit. The beach was very wide, so we had plenty of space. We sat there for a long time, just listening to the waves and watching the seagulls fly above us.
That sounds so peaceful. Did you go into the water right away, or did you wait a bit?
My brother is very brave, so he ran straight into the water. He shouted, "Orus, come in, it's perfect." But when I touched the water with my foot, I realized it was actually a bit cold. I am not as brave as he is, so I just walked along the edge where the water is shallow.
I am like you. I like to enter the water very slowly, 1 inch at a time. Did you find any interesting things while walking on the beach?
Yes, that was our main activity for the first afternoon. We walked for nearly 2 hours. The tide was going out, so the water left many treasures behind. My brother found a very large white shell that was shaped like a spiral. I found some pieces of sea glass. Those are little pieces of glass that the ocean makes smooth and round like stones.
Sea glass is beautiful. It looks like little jewels. Did you do any other activities on the second day? You mentioned renting bicycles earlier.
Yes, that was the highlight of the trip. On the second morning, we found a small shop that rented bright yellow bicycles. They had little baskets on the front for our bags. We decided to ride north along the coast, following a path that was made just for bikes.
A coastal bike ride sounds like a scene from a movie. Was the path flat, or were there many hills to climb?
It was mostly flat, thank goodness. The wind was blowing in our faces, and we could see the cliffs on one side and the deep blue sea on the other. Every few kilometers, we would stop to take photos. My brother took 100 pictures of the lighthouses we passed.
Lighthouses are so romantic and full of history. Did you get to go inside any of them?
We couldn't go inside, but we sat near the base of one old lighthouse to eat our lunch. While we were there, we met a local man who was fixing a stone wall. He was very friendly and asked us where we were from. When we told him we were visiting, he told us, "You must follow the path behind that big rock. It leads to a hidden beach."
A secret path. That sounds like a real adventure. Did you follow his advice?
We did. We left our bicycles near the path and walked through some tall grass. Suddenly, the path opened up and there was a tiny beach between 2 big cliffs. There were no other people there, just us and the sound of the ocean.
That must have felt like you were on a deserted island. What a lucky find.
It really was. We stayed there for the whole afternoon. I read my book, and my brother tried to catch small crabs in the rock pools. It wasn't a busy day with lots of sports or tours, but it was the most fun I've had in a long time.
Sometimes the best activities are the ones that aren't planned, just exploring and seeing where the road or the bike path takes you.
Exactly. On the way back to the town, the sun started to set. The sky turned pink and orange. We pedaled our bicycles slowly, enjoying the cool air and the beautiful colors.
It was a day I will never forget.
Now, we must talk about my favorite subject, the food. I always say that you can't truly know a place until you taste its cooking. After a long day of riding bicycles and exploring secret beaches, you must have been incredibly hungry.
Oh, you have no idea. My stomach was making so much noise on the ride back to the town. We were dreaming of a big dinner. Because we were in a fishing town, we knew we had to try the seafood. It is their specialty.
I can imagine. Everything must be so fresh when the boats bring the fish in every morning. Where did you go for your first big meal?
We found a small restaurant called the Blue Anchor. It was right on the harbor, so we could see the fishing boats moving in the water while we sat at our table. The tables were covered in blue and white cloth, and there was a small candle in the middle of each one.
That sounds very atmospheric and cozy. What did you order? Please tell me you had something amazing.
We started with some warm bread and salty butter. Then for the main course, we both had the catch of the day. It was a large grilled white fish served with local potatoes and green beans. They cooked it with lemon, garlic, and fresh herbs from the garden.
Stop, you are making me so hungry. Was the fish as good as it sounds?
It was better. It was so soft it almost melted in my mouth. My brother said it was the best meal of his life. And to drink, we had some cold apple juice that was made in a farm nearby. It was very crisp and sweet.
That sounds like a perfect dinner. But I know you. You have a sweet tooth. Did you save any room for dessert, or were you too full?
I always have room for dessert. It is a separate stomach, right? For dessert, the waiter recommended a local honey cake. It was a bit heavy, but very delicious. However, my favorite sweet treat was not at the restaurant. It was the ice cream shop we found the next day.
Yes. You mentioned the chocolate ice cream. Was it a special kind of shop?
Yes, it was a tiny shop near the town square. They make all their ice cream by hand using milk from the local cows. I chose 2 big scoops of dark chocolate in a waffle cone. My brother was more adventurous. He chose sea salt and caramel. We sat on a wooden bench in the sun and ate our ice cream before it could melt.
There is nothing better than cold ice cream on a warm day. Did you eat all your meals in restaurants, or did you try some street food or snacks from the market?
On Sunday morning, we visited the local market. It was full of people selling vegetables, fruits, and homemade pies. We bought a picnic box. It had some local cheese, some red apples, and a special type of savory bread filled with onions and herbs. We took that box to the park and had a very relaxed lunch under a big oak tree.
I think a picnic is a great way to save money and enjoy the fresh air at the same time. It sounds like you ate like kings and queens. Did you try any of the local coffee?
Yes, every morning we had breakfast at our hotel with Maria. She made the strongest, most delicious coffee I have ever tasted. She served it in big ceramic mugs with warm milk. Drinking that coffee while looking at the ocean from the breakfast room was the perfect way to start the day.
It sounds like the food was just as much of an adventure as the cycling. It's great that you tried so many different things, from fancy fish dinners to simple picnics in the park.
Definitely. Food is a big part of the memory for me. Now, every time I smell grilled fish or lemon, I think of that beautiful town by the sea.
I always think that shopping on holiday is very different from shopping at home. At home, it is a chore, but on holiday, it is like a treasure hunt. Did you spend a lot of time looking in the shop windows in that little town?
We did. The main street of the town was very narrow, with stones on the ground. It was full of small, independent shops. There were no big, famous stores, just local people selling things they made themselves. I love the smell of those shops. They usually smell like lavender or old paper.
That sounds very peaceful. I usually look for a postcard first. It is a small tradition for me. Did you find a nice one for your mother?
I did. I found a very beautiful postcard that was a painting of the harbor, not a photograph. I saw it in a small cafe, ordered a tea, and wrote a long message to her. I think receiving a physical letter in the mail is a very special surprise nowadays.
Your mother must have been very happy to receive it. Now, tell me more about this wooden boat you bought. I am very curious about it. Is it a big model boat?
It is small enough to fit in the palm of my hand. I found it in a workshop at the end of the street. There was an old man there who was working with wood. You could see the wood shavings on the floor. He makes everything by hand. The boat is painted blue and white, just like the real fishing boats in the harbor.
That is a perfect souvenir. When you look at it on your desk at home, you will remember the sound of the ocean and the smell of the fish. Did it cost a lot of money?
No, it was very cheap, which surprised me because he worked so hard on it. I also bought a small jar of local honey for my neighbor. She looked after my plants while I was away, so I wanted to bring her a sweet thank you gift.
That is very kind of you. Gifts from a journey are always the best because they have a story. What about your brother? You said he bought a big hat. Was it a very fashionable hat?
Oh no, it was a very big straw hat. It was so wide that he looked like a giant mushroom. We laughed so much when he put it on. But the sun was very strong on the bicycle path, and he has very fair skin, so the mushroom hat was actually a very smart purchase.
A mushroom hat. That is a funny image. Did he buy any other souvenirs? Maybe something for his camera?
He bought a handmade leather strap for his camera. A local woman makes them using traditional tools. It is very strong and has his name small on the side. He was very proud of it. We also bought some small bags of lavender to put under our pillows at home.
Lavender is so relaxing. It helps you sleep, doesn't it? It sounds like you were very careful with your money and bought things that were meaningful.
Yes, we don't like to buy plastic things that break easily. We want things that tell a story about the town and the people who live there. Shopping was not about spending money. It was about talking to the shopkeepers and learning about their lives.
I think that is the best way to shop. It makes the items more valuable. When you carry those bags back to the hotel, did you feel like you were carrying a piece of the town with you?
I did. My backpack was a little bit heavier on the way back, but my heart was very light. We had our postcards, our honey, and our wooden boat. We were ready for our last night by the sea.
It sounds like you had a perfect holiday, from the secret beaches to the handmade wooden boat. But all good things must come to an end. How did you feel on the final morning? Was it hard to wake up and realize you had to go back to the city?
It was very hard. I woke up early and went out onto the balcony one last time. The sun was just coming up and the water was very still. I felt a little bit sad. It is always difficult to leave a place where you feel so happy and relaxed.
I know that feeling well. People call it the post-holiday blues. You have to pack your bag again, but this time it feels heavier because the holiday is over. Did you say goodbye to Maria at the hotel?
Of course, we had one last breakfast. I ate 2 of those sweetbreads because I knew I would miss them. Maria was very kind. She gave us a small bag of cookies for the train ride home. We promised her that we would come back next summer.
That is a lovely promise. Having a place to return to feels like having a second home. Was the journey back home different from the journey there?
It was much quieter. On the way there, we were talking and laughing about our plans. On the way back, my brother fell asleep with his mushroom hat over his face. I spent the time looking at the photos on my phone and thinking about everything we saw.
Sometimes the journey home is the best time to think and reflect. When you finally walked through your front door and put your bags down, did your house feel different?
It felt very quiet and very small, but I felt different too. I didn't feel stressed about my work or my chores. I felt recharged, like a battery that is 100% full. I realized that we don't just go on holiday to see new places. We go to change how we feel inside.
That is a very wise thought. Travel is like medicine for the soul. It gives us a new perspective. Now that you are back in your daily routine, what is the one thing you miss the most?
I miss the sound of the ocean at night. In the city, I hear cars and sirens. At the hotel, I heard the waves. But I have my wooden boat on my desk, and when I look at it, I can almost hear the water again.
I am so glad you have that memory, and I am so glad you shared it with us today. It reminds us all that even a short trip can make a big difference in our lives. Where do you think you will go for your next adventure?
Well, I've been thinking about the mountains. I want to see the tall trees, breathe the cold mountain air, and maybe do some hiking. But that is a story for another time.
I look forward to hearing that story. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was a wonderful conversation.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. And thank you to all our listeners for spending time with us.
Yes, thank you everyone for listening to Daily English Dialogues. We hope this conversation helps you talk about your own holidays in English. Don't forget to practice, stay curious, and keep learning. We will see you in the next episode. Goodbye, everyone. Happy learning and happy traveling.